What's up, beautiful people? It's been a couple weeks. March was one of the craziest, most difficult, stressful months I've had in years. I'm not gonna lie. I'll start with good stuff, so I'm not just like, complaining and having a whole poor me, discussion for however long we're on today. Feeling like orangish colors today is what we got with lighting. So eventually, like I said, I'll get like an actual nice camera. But for now, we're just on the computer webcam. We're just having a good old time. So yeah, March was wild, you guys. Financial stress, health stuff going on. But let's talk about some good stuff. Some good stuff is that I actually booked my first official commercial gig. So, like I had said last video, I just started auditioning in February of this 2025 for voice acting stuff, and I got a couple character gigs right from the gate, and that's not what I expected. I did a commercial demo because I was told it's good to start with commercial first and kind of get income going. Character work is typically, I don't want to say it's harder to get into, but it's a different path. It's not as plentiful as commercial work, and it's not as lucrative as quickly. So what you get paid for a 30-second to a minute commercial, especially if it's on TV, especially if it's national, it adds up really fast, and you can make anywhere from, if it's TV, $300 to $1,000 in less than an hour, versus character work. A lot of times you're getting paid for a block studio time. Let's say $250 an hour is like a good rate. Don't know how much work you're going to be doing in an hour, but either way, it takes a little bit more to get paid the same. So anyways, I started with the commercial route, but my first 2 to 3 weeks of auditioning was still in February, and there were 15 auditions coming in, 20 auditions coming in half of the week. Like, it was flowing. So I was able to book my first couple mobile game character gigs that were super fun right away. And then things started to slow down. There were days where 2 auditions came in, none came in, 5 came in, maybe one random day 10 came in. It just started to really slow down for March, which is normal. Unfortunately, music industry and voice acting industry both have the same slow periods, which I'll talk about in a little bit about why that's been tough for me financially. But things started to slow down, and I got super sick. I'll talk about that later too. But in the midst of being sick and actually resting, I did book a television commercial gig. It's with TrueCar, which is a company. I don't know if they're just in California, but this commercial is going to be airing in California. It's not airing yet, so I can't like post a clip of it yet. But yeah, TrueCar, it's going to be airing in California on TV for 13 weeks. That's kind of like the short cycle. And that was cool. I think it was like $300 for less than an hour of work because I did the gig. They wanted some revisions, and then they decided to just like hop on a Zoom call with me. And that was definitely less than an hour, probably 25 minutes maybe. And then they wanted one more correction after that. So, maybe an hour's work total for $300. Not bad. Okay. And it was an official commercial, so I was really excited about that. I'm excited for it to air. I'll post a clip in the next video if it should be up by then. So that was cool. Music stuff slowed down for the season. Cheer stuff is pretty much done. I'll get the occasional cheer music order for Worlds. It was Nationals. Now Worlds is coming to an end, or it's about to happen. So there are just a few little last minute teams want a change, so they want new vocal. But other than that, like, whew, this is my tight season every year. Trying to think if there's anything else cool that happened so that I'm not just like complaining the rest of the video. Oh boy. Just continue to do workshops that are fun for voice acting, anime workshops. I'm just falling deeply in love with anime voice acting. It's so much fun. Video games too, of course, but anime is just special because you could just really go big, more so than any other genre, I think, other than regular cartoon. But even regular cartoons are getting much more like reality based, and the voices are much more like conversational, which is cool, but anime still has that big over the top factor that's so fun. So I'm really having fun studying that, and I am going to be working towards doing an animation demo that'll showcase anime and video game voice character stuff. So that, and then I took two workshops. It was part one and two for oh my gosh, in-show video narration or in-show narration. So basically documentaries, TV shows you're watching on this episode of blah blah blah, and you're like narrating through the show, whether that's true crime or reality shows or nature stuff. I fell in love with that just as much as anime. It's like equal for me. I had so much fun doing reads. Shout out to the Voice Actor Studio for their great classes with Dustin Eba. Um, really fell in love with that. I love narration. I will also get a narration demo eventually. I should, just gotta stack up the paper for a while because it ain't cheap, baby. An animation demo. I already paid for my commercial demo, obviously, and that was a chunk of change. So now it's animation and narration. They're two different ones. You don't combine them. So it's gonna be a little while saving up, my friends. But yeah. So March was extremely slow, but some things happen. Some good stuff. Life is good. I'm not here to complain, but I don't know. I just want to share with you because maybe you're going through some of the same stuff. Maybe you're in a similar field, or you're just my friend and you want to know what's going on. You care. If you don't care, you can use the timestamps to skip to some just behind the scenes studio stuff. Oh, that reminds me. I did, and you'll see, I'll post it in the timestamps. Um, a long time ago, I wrote a song for the love of my life, years back, called Heavenly, and I knew we were gonna get married like the second we started dating. We've known each other since high school. We kind of like dated in high school, but it was high school. It wasn't really nothing. And we just lost touch after high school. I moved to LA. 8 years went by, no contact because we're just living our lives. And we randomly reconnected and went on one date, and that was it. It was like, boom, knew it. This is it. It was crazy. It was so obvious. It was like, duh, like this is my best friend. It was wild. But anyways, I wrote a song a while back for him, and I'm finally actually recording it and getting ready to put it out because I'm getting married. This is April 1st today that I'm filming this. I'm getting married this weekend on Sunday. Oh my God, it's crazy. It's going to be super chill. I'll tell you about it in the next video. I'll post a couple pictures, even though he hates pictures, just a few, just little clippy clips. Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm glad I have that to look forward to this weekend. But anyhow, I wrote that song. I'm finally actually recording it and gonna get it mixed. And I was gonna wait to put it out with my new album at the top of probably next year, to be honest. I'd like to put it out this year, but we'll see. But maybe I'll put it out as a single. Tell me what you guys think. Comment if you think that I should put it out as a single before then, soon, like after the wedding. I don't know. Let me know. So that's that. Now let's talk about the tough stuff because I feel like maybe it'll help somebody feel like they're not alone. And that you shouldn't feel shame for mistakes you make in life. And so let's talk about finances first and then we'll talk about health. Health is not mistakes, but the financial stuff is my own doing. So I grew up not really learning about money. It's not my parents' fault. I never chose to pay attention or care about it. Middle class family on one side, kind of closer to poverty level on the other side of the family, owned their own businesses. Uh, you know, Parents were both hustlers, worked really, really hard. My dad always had 2 to 3 jobs. My mom owned her own business, was just a grinder. Um, but life was hard at a lot of points, especially when I was in high school. We got evicted several times. We lost cars. We pretty much were completely broke for quite a while. I lived with a friend for a while in high school because we lost our house and we were trying to figure things out, and I still needed to go to school and cheer practice, so I stayed with a friend so that it could be convenient for me to be able to continue and not have to drive from far away. So a lot of chaos and a lot of I I don't want to say trauma, that sounds so dramatic, but just not good views of money, definitely a bad attitude about rich people and corporate world and all that, blah, blah, blah. So I just, to my own detriment and my own fault, I never educated myself about money. They don't teach it to you in school. I didn't learn anything about it. So right after high school, in my early 20s, moved straight out to LA to pursue music. Didn't learn anything about money. So didn't, I've said this before, but didn't even know that you're supposed to make 2.5 to 3 times the rent. So I went to look at my first apartment when I was like 19 or 20. And the, the broker was like, okay, so how much do you make? And at the time I made 1,600 a month because it was minimum wage, whatever minimum wage was in LA area at that time. I worked at a tech company and the rent was 1,100, and he was like, yeah, you need to make 2.5 times the rent. I made 1,600. No idea that that was not enough to afford rent and food and utilities and gas, because you live in LA, chances are, unless you got lucky and you could afford a place near your work, you didn't work close, or you don't live near your work. So I had to drive an hour from in traffic from Hollywood to Venice Beach for my tech company job. So a lot of gas, a lot of car maintenance. Didn't take care of my car either. That's a whole nother story. Lesson learned. Anyways, that gives you the perspective of how much knowledge and information I had about finances, financial literacy. There was no savings. There was no investment. There was none of that. I didn't even know what a Roth IRA was. It, I knew nothing. Like I said, I didn't even know that you were supposed to make 2.5 or more times the rent. So obviously, I went broke extremely fast and was always broke, was always going to the food banks, was on food stamps, was late on rent all the time, lost my first apartment, basically just had to like move out. Same thing with the second one. Stayed with family and friends for a while, couch surfed for years. Still didn't learn about money because if you don't actually learn the structures about how to, it doesn't mean budget like, track every single dollar and where it's going to go necessarily, but just having an idea of this is how much I make, this is how much my bills are, this is how much I have left over, this is how much debt I have. So this is about how much I have left over to spend on things I want, on investing in things for my career. Most of my money was spent on investing for my music. It was not on Gucci belts and shopping and fancy car. No, I wasn't going out and eating all the time. It was investing in the right things, but not with any type of structure. So I was just like, as soon as I got paid, was throwing money into a music video or a photo shoot or my hair, whatever it was, studio time, right things, no structure. So all that money just kept going. And obviously, I recouped some of it in, over time and making money off of music. I'm a full-time music artist now. So yes, a lot of it paid off. But had I had a structure in place, anyways, I'm rambling. You guys don't need to hear about that. But the bottom line is I never really learned. So over the last couple years, trying to launch a music business freelance full time, I started and failed, started and failed, started and failed several times because I didn't have any savings. So I'd start making a lot of money during cheer season, especially. And it would be coming in, coming in. I'd have a part-time job. I'd get to the point where I could kind of quit that part-time job and just focus on the music stuff. And it would be good for like 5 months. And then the slow season would hit. And obviously, I didn't have savings. I always just thought, well, I'll figure it out when that time comes. By this time next year, when slow season hits, it's the same story every year. I will have some other vehicle of, income coming in. Rather than saving a certain amount for that slow season, I just was like, no, I'll figure out a way to, okay, if this is cheer season, I'll find something else that is popular during the spring that will bridge the gap. It was always a let's figure it out later. I finally got to the point when COVID happened where thanks to unemployment, it wasn't my fault. I didn't ask to get paid unemployment. The gym shut down. I was working at gyms as a personal trainer. So they gave me unemployment and I was able to, not saying yay for me that, good things happened during COVID. It was obviously a terrible time for many people, but I'm not gonna lie, I got lucky. I was able to save and save and save and save all of that money that was coming in. because I didn't have to drive anywhere. I didn't have to pay for gas. Like I saved a lot. And then I was able to, for the last and final time, launch just doing freelance music stuff and actually have some sustainability. So for the first year or so, for the first year, I did really well. Um, because I had a lot of savings. So when the slow season hit, I just was able to kind of live off the savings. What happened was the second year, which was 2024, 2023, sorry. Um, I made way more than the year before, quite significantly more. And I thought, like, okay, I think I should save about this much per month for taxes. I think I'll be okay. But I did not have an accountant. I did not have a tax guy. So I was doing it myself. And I thought that I had a good idea. Like, you just save a little bit every month towards taxes and you should be fine. You know, you're fully self-employed. You're going to have to pay taxes. I was, I was aware that I was going to owe, but I did not actually look at the exact number. I didn't understand the brackets of what I'd be in because I didn't know how. This is the problem. If you don't consistently track your income, or you haven't been in business for a certain amount of years knowing, hey, I usually make about this much. The first year that I made way more than my previous, I went from like 50,000 to 83,000 for the year. I didn't know how to track things. And so last year, my tax bill was $12,000. Okay, for a self-employed music artist making 83,000 a year, it sounds like a good income to start with, right? But $12,000. Oh my God, I nearly passed out when I saw that number. So needless to say, I spent half of my savings that I had, my emergency fund, because I had been learning, quick backstory, I had been reading every single book on finances, personal finance, running a business, creative entrepreneur finances, just everything. I educated myself and I kind of got a good hold of things, but not the tax part because that was just too complicated and I'll just figure it out. Big mistake, y'all. That $12,000 tax bill really crushed me because I didn't have, I had emergency savings, but I didn't have tax savings. I didn't separate the two. So I just thought, oh, this should be enough to cover emergencies if something happens, a slow month or two, plus the taxes. Not nearly enough. Okay, I had this nice emergency fund. Half of it went to taxes right away because I kind of panicked and just was like, oh, let me just pay half of it now. And then I've been paying ever since then on a monthly basis. So here's where the mistake came in because I got an accountant, and so he started doing my books, and so now this year my tax bill is cut in half because of how much I've been investing and keeping in touch with him about keeping that balance of spending enough on your business, not too much to keep your tax bill down. It's not like I'm trying to avoid every dollar of tax. I'm still paying taxes, but just down from 12,000. Okay. If I'm going to invest money, I'd rather invest it in my business and not just give it to the government. Though I appreciate the programs and the things that a lot of it pay for. So again, not trying to avoid all taxes, just 12,000's a lot for someone like me. So anyways, got a tax guy, things started to get better, started to educate myself, really, really learned as much as I could. And what happened was I got overly excited at the end of last year when I really decided to go all out in learning voice acting and pursuing it. So I started partially in the spirit of wanting to invest more in my business to reduce my tax bill. I went over the top, overboard. I just invested so much money into workshops and classes and training and one-on-one coaching and then financing the studio, even though I'm financing it because I didn't have the cash up front to pay for the $8,000 studio. I still had to put a down payment. I still had to pay for shipping and just all this stuff. Plus my demo, once I was approved to be demo ready to cut my commercial demo, I was like, the correct mentality of this is all going to pay off. It will, because I know what I'm doing. I've taken the education and training. I'm not just like, I'm starting a new business. I knew exactly what to do and about how long it usually takes for people to start booking if they're really going at it. Two problems. One, I didn't save up money really to dedicate and organize for it. I just kept spending the money, knowing fall is my busy season. I'm going to recoup. But I wasn't paying attention to the fact that I was still paying my tax bill every month on top of putting money out for my new business, on top of the fact that slow season was about to come up, on top of the fact that I had a wedding coming up. And even though we chose to do a very small, very private ceremony with just parents basically, and then a small reception party, it's still total cost for everything's probably going to be a little under 10,000. So way less than most people's weddings, very budget, but still, it's still, a lot of money. And our family's definitely stepping in and helping us wherever they can. But I've spent a lot already. We've spent a lot. So all of those things at once just piled up at the same time. Had I been more diligent about tracking everything and paying attention, I I would have been in a fine place right now. But I got overly excited, and this happens when something new comes up and you get passionate, and it's a beautiful thing that, you're willing. I'm a risk taker, not out of control, but I definitely take a lot of calculated risks because I believe that, um, in your 30s or younger, especially, it's the time to take risks and invest in things and know that you have time to recoup. But you still have to be smart. So I made the mistakes of just doing too much too fast, and I had a slower than usual November, December. Usually those are still pretty big months, but they were lower than the last 3 years. For whatever reason, I'm not really sure why. It just happened to be that way this year. And so when January, February came around, yikes. I won't get into nitty-gritty personal details, but basically just I'm in trouble. Financially, I spent way too much. And what happened was that I made too many commitments, like, committed to doing the wedding in April and the reception in June. So already had to, put deposits down. It's not like we couldn't cancel it, but I'm not going to cancel it now or push it back. Probably should have in hindsight, but here we are. I don't regret it. It's just committing to that, committing to doing my demo when I could have waited a couple months to save up. I just said the money will be there because I know about how much I'll make in January. Problem with that is, again, you never know if you have a slower than usual January, but hey, February or March is the bigger month. Like, just stuff happens in this business. So I got into a really tough spot, and I had to lean into credit card, which I hate. I don't even want to have a credit card anymore. I think I'm going to just keep it down to one just for my business. I don't believe that credit cards are good emergency funds. That's not what they're meant for. I think they're meant for being able to use for a lot of not rewards necessarily like cash back points, but if you fly a lot or just for the convenience of how they'll go to bat for you, sometimes more than your bank, especially if you have a big mega bank. I don't. I have a credit union, but they'll do a lot for you if, for example, some fraud happens or there's disputes, especially the better known credit card companies. They'll go hard for you when it comes to making sure you get your money back and investigating fraud. I've seen them be much better than banks with that. So there are benefits to having a credit card, but it's not a good source. It's not supposed to be an emergency fund source because if you're not able to pay that money back guaranteed right away, which in my business, because income's like this, you don't really know if you're going to have that cash in time, and then you're just getting charged interest. So anyways, got into that situation where over the last 2 or 3 months, I've had to lean into credit to be able to just get by. And that really makes me feel ashamed and angry at myself and angry at the world. And I can't believe I'm back in this position again when I had like at least 15K in savings and no debt. I was investing so much into my Roth IRA. Like I was killing it and going on nice dinners. Like things were going so well, but I made mistakes and I screwed up, and now I'm in a crappy position, which sucks, you guys. It really sucks. It was really stressful over the past month, just looking at that and saying, wow, like I'm back here in this situation again. It's embarrassing. And I feel bad because it's my doing. It's nothing that my partner had a part in terms of the decisions that were the mistakes. That was all me. So it sucks when you know that it was you that screwed up. But I know what to do. I have my tax guy. He's really helping me. My tax bill is way less this year, so that's going to help. Uh, I've gotten on a really good budgeting system. The Ramit Sethi, I love his conscious spending plan. It's not a strict, count every single dollar budget, cut coupons. It's more of directing your money where it needs to go, and just getting really organized so that you're aware of everything, using apps that can help you see the unseen subscriptions and old things that you didn't realize you're still paying for, like just knowing where your money is going so that you can make adjustments. Hence my natural back to natural hair color. Gonna save. I realized how much I was spending on my hair. So I'm back to natural for a while so that I can save quite a bit of money every month. I've cut out some other things, reorganized everything, slowed down on investing in my business, which I will pick back up when things are better, getting the other demos. But anyways, that's where I'm at. On track now to improve. Everything's going to get better. By the end of summer, work really picks up for me. And then fall is just like, always a cakewalk. Fall is good for my music and voice acting. Apparently, it's the busiest time of the year. So, like every year in the fall, I'll make everything back. But this year now I have the lesson of knowing, not just to have emergency savings for the slow months, but also to have tax savings in a separate account that is ready to go for tax season. It doesn't have to be a perfect number, but at least if you have an idea, you can keep in touch with your tax guy and say, or my accountant, and say, hey, you think this is going to be enough? Where are we at? It's 6 months into the year. It's almost the end of the year. Do you have kind of an idea of how much I'm going to owe? Or you pay quarterly estimated taxes, whatever it is. Just being on the right track now. It still doesn't fix the fact that, I'm kind of in a hole that I'm climbing out of, but we'll get there. I know what to do now. I know what not to do. So I have learned so many lessons. On to the health stuff. Oh my God, it's been challenging too. I will say one really amazing thing is I am not having really much reflux anymore. I think I said in the last video, reflux has been a pain in my side, a thorn in my side for years now. I started using it. I've tried all of the medications. I've tried everything the doctor told me to do. Um, and they just didn't, those pills just didn't work for me. They would make me nauseous. So I'd go through like a 2-week round of Prilosec, and I would, by the end, start to feel nauseous. Like I don't have any stomach acid left because it does lower your stomach acid. And so maybe I don't have acid reflux. Maybe I have low stomach acid. I don't know. But either way, stuff comes up and it burns my throat and it causes postnasal drip. And it's been a miserable battle. I thought last year it was because of the once a week I was drinking alcohol. Once a week. Oh, it's just too much with what I do with singing. It's probably the coffee, the 1 to 2 cups of coffee I have a day, which is not really enough to, be an issue. But anyhow, I tried I tried a brand called Reflux Raft. I ended up switching to a different one called Reflux Gourmet. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but oh my God, it has pretty much eliminated my reflux. It's sodium alginate, so it's derived from kelp. What it does is when you ingest it, it creates a little kind of foamy layer, and they actually have videos on their website of a camera in the stomach. It's gross, but where you can see the foam layer form after you eat it. You don't want to eat or drink anything for like, I'd say an hour after you ingest it because it needs time to settle. But it creates this little foam-ish raft. It doesn't hurt or feel weird in your stomach. You don't feel sick or anything, but it keeps stuff from coming back up. So it's like a little raft, a little barrier. And I've been taking it either just after a really acidic meal if I drink coffee, or of course at night before I go to bed. And I am not having postnasal drip anymore. I've just noticed a huge difference. So I think I'm good on reflux. And this has been a years of battle. Oh my God, you guys, it's been the worst of the worst. Stomach pain, stomach cramping, nausea, not wanting to eat because I've just had reflux so bad, burning, canker sores. It's pretty much gone. So that's good news. Outside of that, I've been having This has happened to me before in years past, and we've never been able to figure out what it was. Shortness of breath on and off with an elevated heart rate for months, like months. This happened to me before, and also my blood pressure was kind of high, and I thought it was too much caffeine last year when that was going on, so I cut back on coffee. This year, I completely eliminated it for a couple weeks, and it didn't make a difference. Um, I have been more stressed, so of course, there's the possibility that it's just stress, but it is very strange. And then I had a sinus infection for the last 2.5 months. I was having sinus drainage and congestion, my ears blocked and hurting. I went to urgent care because I just felt so bad 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they couldn't find anything. They did a chest x-ray, they did strep tests, they did all kinds of stuff, and they were like, I don't know, sounds like a sinus infection, gave me antibiotics, gave me an inhaler to see if that helped. Not much. Went through a week of antibiotics, and then I ended up getting the flu. I think I just had a weakened immune system from that, and then so I had a sinus infection and some type of flu. I have never been so sick in my life, you guys. This month was the worst cold and flu I've ever had, even worse than COVID. It was like when I had pneumonia when I was 19. It was bad. I had fevers, I had chills, my heart rate was out of control, I was tingling, I had anxiety. My congestion was so bad that I felt like I could feel the back of my nose and my throat touching. Like I was a bowling ball for like 5 days. It was scary. There was a couple times where I almost went to the hospital because I just was feeling like I was gonna faint. And I had been sleeping and resting and drinking fluid. I did all the right things. Was not exerting myself. I took off. I wasn't. Well, there was a couple days where I did some studio work that I shouldn't have, so that's my fault. My throat was so sore. It just was bad. After I kind of got better from that flu, I still had congestion. Even today, I still have congestion. Went back to urgent care, and this time they just same thing. They checked everything. They're like, there's nothing that is alarming. We don't really know, but here is a different kind of antibiotic, 5 day and 5 days of steroids. So I'm on my last day of steroids and antibiotics. I feel fine. My congestion is better than it was, but I still have a little bit of congestion and the shortness of breath and the high heart rate thing. So it's bothersome, it's troublesome, especially that my blood pressure's it's not dangerous or anything that's like, oh, it's just it used to always be perfect, and over the last year or two, I've noticed that it's much higher than it used to be. So anyways, I've been praying, I've been trying to stay healthy, I've been going to counseling every 2 weeks. I know that stress is a big deal for me. I practice all these positive affirmations. I'm a very positive person. Um, and I live a pretty healthy lifestyle. So I get really frustrated when this stuff happens because I'm like, hey, man, like I'm doing all the right things. But when I actually look at my behavior, uh, I do overwork myself quite often. And I don't think what I do because it's not 8 hours of work. I often think that I'm not working that hard, I'm not working that much, so I shouldn't be tired. So I'll push through a lot instead of resting because I get 8 hours of sleep. Why would I need to go take a nap or rest? I only worked for technically 3 hours, but I don't account for how much effort creating from scratch when I'm writing music takes, um, actually singing or doing the voice acting, which is very physical, the editing on the screen for an hour, sitting there trying to meticulously edit, keeping in touch with clients, sending the files, keeping track of everything, invoicing people, keeping track of invoices, making sure they're getting paid, making sure I didn't miss any orders. Just all of this stuff on top of regular life. I think creative entrepreneurs don't realize how much effort they put out for their business. Just because it's not 8 hours a day does not mean that it's not 8 hours in terms of effort, like feeling and the toll it takes on your body. So that's one thing I've learned is that if you feel tired, there's a difference between like, oh, I'm just kind of lazy, or, I'm not exercising, so I just don't really have energy, and I'm tired. I am overwhelmed. When you're feeling that way, you gotta stop saying, well, but I got enough sleep, so I just need to get over it. Just if you feel tired, rest. That is my lesson to myself. If you feel tired, rest. Do everything that you can. You know, if it's been 5 days and you haven't picked up the computer and done any work, okay. But that's not me. I know myself, and I'm sure a lot of you are probably the same. Most people aren't lazy. We think we're lazy. Maybe we're lazy because we don't like to cook all the time. We might order food. Sure, whatever. Most of the time you're overwhelmed and you're not giving yourself enough love and enough rest. Um, and you're too stressed. So I've learned that that's probably, I know not everybody's spiritual, so I'm not going to get too woo woo on you, but I do feel like that's been the message for me is just not fully embracing rest and taking care of myself. And so I think that all of this health stuff, all of this money stuff has been kind of a slap, you know? God like whispers to you, he's like, hey, you might wanna watch this. And then he talks a little bit more normal voice. Okay, you might want to check on this. And then he's like, hello, you might want to check on this. And then it's like, it's like when somebody's freaking out and you got to slap them. That's what's happening to me right now, but that's okay. So anyways, I don't know what's going on. I am trying to be as healthy as I can. I have a regular physical scheduled for the end of this month. So I'm going to go into the physical. I'm going to tell my doctor what's going on. I'm going to ask him to check my heart, make sure my heart's good, talk about blood pressure, and just really work on not stressing and seeing if the stress going down and managing that better helps. So anyways, that was a lot of rambling, probably more information you wanted to know or even cared to know, but it's all right. We're looking up. I just wanted to share that it's been really, really tough. There's been a lot of tears, there's been a lot of breakdowns. On top of everything that's happened, it's like his car started to give out. We don't know what's wrong with it. The mechanics don't know how to fix it. There's a problem that cannot be resolved because they just don't know what the issue is. So we've spent like at least $600 on this old car trying to figure it out, and now they just don't know. Everything we spent was wasted because we don't know what the problem is. The problem we thought it was is not the actual problem. So there was that. And then my car just needed normal maintenance. It just was at the same time. So it was like, oh, it was like $1,000 for my car and $600 for your car. And it's just been a lot, y'all. But wedding is this weekend. And that's going to be wonderful. I'm really looking forward to spending time with our parents and my grandma up in the mountains in Mount Charleston. I will share with you some pictures and stuff. I'll share the commercial when it comes out. And yeah, we'll start picking up for summer. Things are gonna get better. I know they will. It's just send me some love and some prayers, y'all, because it's been tough, but we're moving on up. Okay. Anyways, love you. See you next time. Okay, today I gotta stop clearing my throat. That is such a bad habit. I'm trying to remember. It's hard when you're dealing with phlegm. Not to clear your throat. I'm still getting congestion cleared out from whatever the hell's been going on. Still don't know. No answers, but hey, it is what it is. Just glad to not be super sore in my throat. Oh, it's so hard not to clear your throat. You're supposed to do what they call a hard swallow when you have phlegm. The other thing that works, though, sometimes is doing a very airy cough. So, like putting air in your throat as you cough. Because coughing can damage the throat. Anyways, today we're going to do some character auditions for a video game, a PC game, and then whatever else pops up on the casting sites. I think I saw one commercial just come in, so we'll do that too. This one, a sassy and smug short girl, blah, 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 higher pitched female voice, but not sweet. Texture and a little bit of raspiness are welcome, without sounding arrogant or bored. Okay. So, teasing is a fun way for her to communicate. Okay, so she's not mean. She's just kind of like sassy and fun, but a little bit of a higher pitched voice without being sweet. And then there's a second character. So let's do this one first. Very cute picture. Definitely on the anime vibe. Try not to clear my throat. All right. Let's give it a whirl, shall we? We're going to slate before we start. Miranda Santillan. The cheapest? Sorry, I had no idea you were that poor. Life must be hard. Okay, looking at her picture, she looks, it says 18 years old, but anime, you always want to aim for a little younger than it says in terms of vocal tone, because unless it's an older character, but 18, you want to go for 15 or 16 voice-wise, so. The cheapest? The cheapest? The cheapest? The cheapest? To Valley Girl. Okay, I think I have an idea of what I want to do. The cheapest? Sorry, I had no idea you were that poor. Life must be hard. Okay, this is angry and loud. Hey! Who are you calling comic relief? You saw how dangerous I could be! And we peaked in volume still. I'm just so powerful. Just kidding. Hey! Who are you calling comic relief? You saw how dangerous I could be! Okay, comically angry. Let's get a little crazier. Hey! Who are you calling comic relief? You saw how dangerous I could be! Let's return. Okay, now we are feeling guilty and kind of nervous. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, look at the time. I better get going. Deep sorrow, fighting conflicting feelings inside. Oh, okay. In these past few days, you've done more for me than anyone has ever done in my whole life. Fighting conflicting feelings inside, okay. In these past few days, you've done more for me than anyone has ever done in my whole life. I feel like we're getting a little too sweet. In these past few days, you've done more for me than anyone has done in my whole life. I dig that. Okay. So that is for lo-fi or lo-fi. Lo-fi. This other character, same game. Early 20s. Okay, a little bit older. Yeah, you can tell by the outfits that I'm looking at. Okay. A dancing witch. I like it already. Bright, energetic, and optimistic. She never seems to get tired. Okay. Medium to high-pitched voice, enthusiastic and cheerful. Okay, so maybe not quite, I don't have to be quite as high. Okay. I like this one. Wow, you're so confident. Oh, I didn't slate. Let's slate. Miranda Santillan. Wow, you're so confident. I like that. Little mouthy noise there. Wow, you're so confident. I like that. Hey, are you taking this seriously? Come on, straighten that posture. Does a terrible performance. I'm trying to find a positive way to tell him, but I just end up spilling the beans. Not mad, just disappointed. It was okay, I can't lie. It was total trash. I like that. This one more time. It was okay, I can't lie. It was total trash. sweet or touching moment of realization, the great relationship that we have developed. Oh, okay. I'm glad the stars never told me this was gonna happen. Some things are better experienced spoiler-free. Mouth noises galore. Stop clearing your throat. Okay. You know, I'm glad the stars never told me this was gonna happen. Some things are better experienced spoiler-free. Okay, I like it. So that's it for animation today. Alright, friends, today we are, she just texted me, that's funny. We are doing songwriting for a client of mine who I've been working with for years. She's a great gal. She's a singer, and I've been writing songs for her for I think like 2 years now. She's really, really sweet, so easy to work with, so I really enjoy working with her. So she's going through a hard time right now. Hers is relationship drama stuff. I can relate, not with relationship drama, but with just stress and frustration, feeling disappointed, frustrated, and worried about certain things that, different problems, same energy. So, wrote this track. I won't share all of it out of respect for her. I don't want to post her song before she records it, but we'll give you a little clip. So, here we go. Let's get it. My fairy tale is crashing down. There's so much for the happy ever after. Yeah. Oh no, this needs to be faster. My fairy tale is crashing down. So much for the happy ever after. Thought we were writing our own story. Turned out to be one lonely chapter. My fairy tale is crashing down. My fairy tale is crashing down. Yeah. So much for... I just did it just as slow as the first time. My fairy tale is crashing... It's gotta be right away. Okay. My fairy tale is crashing down. So much for happy ever after. Thought we were writing our own story. Turned out to be one lonely chapter. You really played me for a fool. Holding your true colors back until I was vulnerable. Then you let them fly. I feel so attacked. Vulnerable. Till you let them fly. I feel so attacked. Then you let them fly. I feel so attacked. You just have to keep in mind when you're songwriting the person that you're writing for, that it's not, because this is not my song, I'm not going to sing it in the end, so I have to make sure it sounds appropriate for her voice. So sometimes you might make decisions that you wouldn't do, but you know would be good for them. So keeping that in mind. Then you let them fly. I feel so attacked. I feel so attacked, 'cause you are such a gentleman. Then you let them fly. I feel so attacked. I feel so... Come on now. Then you let them fly. I feel so... I feel so... Then you let them fly. I feel... Then you let him fly. I feel so attacked, 'cause you are such a gentleman. Let's separate that. Why do you keep muting? Come on, computer! What is going on? Okay, cool. My technology's tweaking out. That's nice. All right. Cool. Let's behave, shall we?
'Cause you are such a gentleman.
Not working at all. Okay, it's doing this weird thing where it is muting as soon as I start recording the other tracks. For no reason. It's just one of those weeks, one of those 2 months where everything that can go wrong, now not everything that can go wrong is going wrong. It's not that dramatic. It's just, it's been a lot of weird crap. It's alright, I'm gonna get through it. Ah, it's still doing the mute thing. Why? I even freaking closed the project and reopened it. Okay, we're just gonna delete that track and put it on a different track. Come on, Logic, stop it. Oh my god. It's still doing it! Why? Sorry. Why are you doing this? I don't understand. Why? What the heck? This is really annoying. No, stop muting. Oh my god.
'Cause you are such a gentleman. Showered me with affection. Treated...
Ooh, that wasn't it.
'Cause you are such a gentleman. Showered me with affection. Treated me just like a queen.
See, that's a line that wouldn't really suit her voice, so we're gonna change it. Treated me just like a king, a queen. I'm not a king.
Treated me just like a queen, only to pull the rug out from under me.
Yeah, that's better. Okay, so that's the verse. We're keeping it simple because it's just a laid back song. When I'm songwriting, I will do I'll layer the hook and I will add harmonies and stuff if appropriate. But again, we're not doing like a ton of vocals because these vocals I'm laying down are not going to be on the actual song. She's going to record them. So we'll do a little bit of the hook and then I'll tap out so I don't reveal her whole song.
I should have known it was just a dream. Thankfully somebody woke me. I should have known it wasn't truly meant to be. I thought it was real. I could taste it, I could touch it. I should have known. A charlatan, you can't be trusted. Then you let him fly. I feel so attacked, 'cause you were such a gentleman. Showered me with affection. Treated me just like a queen, only to pull the rug out from under me. I should have known it was only a dream. Thankfully somebody woke me. I should have known it wasn't truly meant to be. I thought it was real.
Okay, time to work on an album song. This song I wrote years ago for a special someone, and it is time to finally record it. The beat is ready, and I have a project that it actually makes sense for. My album is definitely more R&B focused, less pop and hip-hop focused, really just R&B, like my roots, what I started loving in the first place. I love pop and hip-hop too, but like at my core, the first music I really fell in love with was all the Motown stuff. So that's where I started my singing journey initially. So I want to go back to that. So the song is special. Let's see how it goes today.
It came without effort. It came without pain. It came without searching. Is it insane? Is it insane? Is it insane that everything's clicked and fallen in place since you've come around? I can embrace that love is a feeling, it's not a verb, vibration of kindness. That boy you deserve, that boy you deserve, that boy you deserve. Let's hear from the top and see if we want to change it. Let's do another pass. It came without effort. It came without pain. It came without searching. Is it insane that everything's clicked? Okay, I liked the beginning a lot better than the first one, but is it insane that everything's clicked? That's gotta be strong. Is it? Oh, jumping in. Is it insane that everything's clicked and fallen in place? Oh, that was so close! Is it insane that everything's clicked? Oh, damn it. Is it insane that everything's clicked and fallen in place since you've come around? I can embrace that love is a feeling. Damn it, that was so close. Still not there. Searching. Is it insane that everything's clicked and fallen in place since you've come around? I can embrace that love is a feeling, it's not a verb, vibration of kindness. That boy you deserve. I don't like that ending. Fudge sickles. Searching. Is it insane that everything's clicked? Searching. Is it insane that everything's clicked? Trying so hard not to have a potty mouth, yeah. It's just not there. Searching. Is it insane that everything's clicked and fallen in place since you've come around? I can embrace that love is a feeling, it's not a verb, vibration of kindness. That boy you deserve. Fukushima. Okay. I think I liked up to I can embrace, so. That love is a feeling, it's not a verb. The love is a feeling. That love is a feeling. Love is a feeling. That love is a feeling. Ah! That love is a feeling. It's not a verb. Vibration of kindness. That boy. Where did that come from? That was Dooku. Dookie? That love is a feeling. It's not a verb. Vibration of kindness. That boy you deserve. That ending is horrible. That boy you deserve. That love is a feeling. It's not a verb. Vibration of kindness. That boy you deserve. That was it. Okay. I'm going to decide which takes I like better later, but let's go ahead and dub it from the top. Isn't it heavenly? I need to turn the beat down. That's what's going on here. Isn't it heavenly? So we found the one to give your everything. That's how it feels. Isn't it heavenly to know, not just believe? This is real. That's how it feels. Heavenly, 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 you are to me, to me, to me. You can be my own.